Welcome into the First Alert News Center. I'm Hannah Burbank, and here are today's top stories, starting with story number 5. A male judoka from Iraq tested positive for 2 anabolic steroids at the Paris Olympics. That's according to the International Testing Agency today. Now, Sajjad Sihan, a 28-year-old first-time Olympian, tested positive in a sample taken in Paris on Tuesday. He was due to compete next Tuesday. Sayan is provisionally suspended while a disciplinary case is prosecuted, and that's according to the ITA, which oversees the Games Time Anti-Doping Program for the International Olympic Committee. Moving on to our 4th top story. David McAdory, a homeowner in Richland County, lives in a floodplain. The area is well known for the 1,000-year flood that left the area in upwards of 15 feet full of water. Now, McAdory told WIS storm drains on the sides of the road have been clogged with debris and never get cleaned. McAdory said he and other neighbors have sent emails and called the city of Columbia for weeks regarding storm drain cleanup. He said despite speaking with the South Carolina Department of Transportation, he's questioning why the state is not taking the necessary steps he says need to be taken so that flooding can remain at bay. Just one day after calling them about the road, McAdory was told the street would be blocked off and SCDOT would come and clean up all the debris and blockage by the drains once the water starts to subside. Now, WIS reached out to SCDOT for comment on the flooding. A spokesperson said, quote, "The area is part of the Gills Creek floodplain. SCDOT does maintenance as needed in this area to counter existing flooding issues," end quote. You can find the full details of the story up on our website. Moving on to our 3rd top story. Some South Carolina students are already back in school, and by the end of this week, 6 South Carolina school districts will already be back in the classroom, and a dozen will have returned before the calendar flips to August. That's despite a state law saying no students should be back for about another month. South Carolina law states the first day of school should be no earlier than the 3rd Monday in August, which is August 19th this year. But districts can go back earlier by adopting what's known as a, quote, year-round modified school calendar. This year, 71 districts have adopted these calendars and will begin school before August 19th, when the last 2 districts in the state will return. You can find the full details of this story and when specific school districts will be back in the classroom on our website at wistv.com. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the rest of our top stories after this.
When I think about the big stories in South Carolina, my mind always comes here to our South Carolina State House because of real stories that affect real people in our community. I think back on the huge teacher rally, thousands of teachers from across our state coming here to the South Carolina State House to rally with SC for Ed. In my mind, this is the heartbeat of democracy, of advocacy, of equity, of justice, and what makes our community such a special place. WIS 10, connection happens here.
Welcome back to today's top stories. We pick back up with story number 2. A waterspout was spotted on Lake Murray during storms on Thursday afternoon. A WIS News 10 viewer sent us a photo while they were fishing on the lake at around 1 p.m. Meteorologist Adam Clark confirmed the cloud was in fact a waterspout. A waterspout is a rotating column of air that forms over the water, according to the National Weather Service. Moving on to our top story of the day. One person is dead following a crash that happened on Wednesday on Lightwood Knott Road, 5 miles south of Bishopville. According to the South Carolina Highway Patrol, the driver of a 2003 Ford sedan was heading north on Lightwood Knott Road when they ran off the road to the right and struck a ditch and several trees. The driver was the only person in the car and died on the scene. The crash is under investigation by SCHP. That is all for today's top stories, but you can find all of these stories and more up on our website, wistv.com.